Hi everyone, in today's video we're going to be recreating this really cool slider, so let's get to it. In order for us to create this website, we're going to need the following items here so that we can actually make this one. So I'll provide a link in the description for all of these images and stuff here, and also I'll provide another link for the full template on Figma. So let's say we want to start designing this website here. So first of all, we need to create a frame. So for this tutorial, we're going to be looking at multiple stuff on Figma. So some of them are advanced, some of them are basic. So we're going to be looking on how to actually design something quick and how to using auto layout, masking, we're going animations, prototyping features, and we can see how we can animate a few stuff. So let's get started. So first of all, let's give this a name, Cakies 0. Because we actually we will have 4 screens instead of 3, so we won't have, as we've seen in the slider, there is 3 main cakes, but we're going to be actually using 4 frames. We'll see why. So first of all, what we want to do is we want to create a really quick nav. So let's call, maybe just change the font. Let's say go with Nonito. I think it's free font, anyone can use it. So let's give it also a reasonable size. Maybe 34 is good. Yes, 34 should be good. So let's give it a few. Let's go home, about, and maybe say cakes, and let's say contact. So we don't really want to have that much. So yeah, contact us, and then we're going to also add a button, which is a buy now. So first, for now, we're going to we already used auto layout, so let me just undo this so that you can see what I did. So we have to choose all of them and then shift A. So this, we're going to put them in a frame which called auto layout. So let's give it a name. Let's call it nav items. That's cool. And then let's bring in the logo. This is just a logo that I made. So now again, let's give them auto layout, but here we're gonna make sure that it's first of all, I'm gonna make sure that it's on the middle, and also we wanna, instead of giving it a number here, we're going to give it an auto. So auto will be working as we use this. So let's say this should be, we want it 40 from here and 40 from here. Yes, great. So that's what we've got, and let's give it maybe less, maybe 32. Yeah, from above our margin should be enough. I don't think we're going to add maybe a buy now button, because I think it's not necessary. We're going to add, because it's just a slider, it's not that much. We need to also think about the UX when we're designing. So here I think it will be maybe, at first I thought we could add it, but I think now it's like maybe it's not necessary because we'll have already the buttons. So now what we want to do is we want to bring in the text here. So first of all, let us give it a color. So let me just bring in the color palette. So here we go. Now we have the color palette that we are going to use. So we just chose 4 colors. So let's give this a background. So now what we want to do is we want to start actually adding items into this canvas here. So first of all, let's make this text let's mask this text so that we can only see one at a time. So we don't want to be able to see them, all of them once, because this is just a simple text that we used, and you can add anything here. So this is just like text and then enter and then another text, but we want to mask. So first of all, let's just give it a rectangle here, make sure that it masks everything. So that's cool, and then choose it and make sure that the rectangle is above and then mask it. So this one will, this way the rectangle will be shown, and then if we move this mask, as you can see, we can move through each one of them. So yeah, let's stay here, and now let's give this mask a color, which is in this situation here, this color. Cool. So let's call it text. Let's call it main heading. Right, cool. So I think, and this way here, this was happening here because of the constraints of the actual text. So this should be top. So now if we do this, this will be working just fine. So let's call it main heading again, because we deleted the group that we called it. So let's put it here. So we call it chocolate cake. Amazing. So let's give it also a 40 as we used for the nav. Cool. So also let's set some lorem ipsum text, just enough, and then do that. And we can make them an auto layout, but not yet, because we still need to work with it. But let's call this P. Okay, so P for text. paragraph. All right, so again, now let's add some of the this chocolate, so that as we call it, the decor. So let's put one here. It's a cake. So what we do is bring an ellipse and then just hide the fill and just use the stroke so that we can see what we're doing here. So let's make sure it's, so in this example we use an ellipse because it's a cake, so it's already kind of an ellipse, but in some different shapes or shapes that are maybe more complicated, you might need to use the pen. So now let's bring back the fill and choose both of them and then mask. See why this happened? Because the image should be above the ellipse. So now let's bring in the image above the ellipse and then we mask. So this way it's going to be working just fine. So let's call this chocolate cake. Cool. And let's just bring it here. I think the size is good. Yes, size is, yeah, I think that's, yeah, the size is just about right. So let's maybe move this a little bit more. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to actually, so this is not how it should look. So this is not the main color for this, so we need to change the color. So here, let's, instead of using this color, let's use actual color we have here. So now what we want to do is, this is not the main color for this one, so we're going to, this is called, we called it 0 because, so we called it this 0 because this should have initial states that we'll use to actually for the animation. So what we want to do is, or we can do move further. So let's actually bring in the right colors. So why we chose this color, I'll let you know why we used that color just a second ago. So let's make them the same. Then we're going to actually use this color, and here same, we're going to be using this color. Cool. So this one is going to have another frame on top of it. So let's make a new frame and make sure it's 100% everywhere. So yes, and we're going to give it a fill and we're going to put it on top of everything. Yes, so this is happening because we cannot put it on top of everything because it's actually everything is inside it right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna change that and put it on top. So this is what we need to work with. So let's call this, yes, so let's call this initial state. So what we're gonna do is we're going to actually put some text here. Let's maybe say we make just tasty cakes, whatever. So we're going to make this a little bit bigger. So let's maybe give it 120. Yes, I feel this is about right. Cool. So let's, yes, amazing. So let's give it extra bold. Yes, and yeah, put it in right in the middle. So we're going to use this for the animation, we'll see later, but for now let's keep it as it is. And now let's duplicate that. So once we duplicate that, what we're going to do is we're going to move this frame right here, and then we're going to just move it on top till we just leave like a small bar here. Oops, this logo changed, so the color should be black in here. Yes, whatever. Maybe it's going to be, we're going to notice a mistake later if we do not change the color. So we're going to use black in here. Cool. So now, as we do have the first scene ready, or the first slide ready, now we're going to actually move right away and start creating the second slide. But before that, we need to actually show that we have the vanilla here and also have this here, so that later we do not have any problems in the animation when we're working with it. So again, let's use another ellipse because the quality is really good. We don't want to actually mess with the quality, so that's why we're going to use that. We're going to use the ellipse here instead of a background remover, and actually the shape here is just perfect, so it's gonna look amazing. Cool. So again, what we need to do is put the shape behind the image. So the image is here, going to bring it here, put the image, and voila, here we go. Let's call it vanilla viewpoint. Cool. So let's make this, let's give this a actual, maybe something like that. Yes, something around that, and we're going to actually give it 180 degrees, and we'll see later why. So we need to actually make sure they're the same side, and let's give them a maybe, yeah, 78. I think spacing is just fine. So again, here we're going to do this, the ellipse, and I think it just looking good. Cool. So now let's bring it, and what we're going to do is give it the exact same size, so 291, 293. So let's actually do this, and then, so what matters is the the width is what matters the most, so it doesn't matter what's happening with the actual. Let's unclip content that we can see what we're doing here, and since I will make sure it's here, Cakies 1, and then we're going to do is hold space and move it. Start. Yes, let's give them, let's actually give it a more than 78. Let's give it maybe, yeah, something around that, because later it's going to be different. So again, clip content. Cool. So now what we're going to do is move to slide number 2, but before we forgot something. So for the third, we forgot to give it 180 degrees. Cool. So now let's duplicate our slide and let's go to the next one. So now what we're gonna do is, in order for us to have this here, so the slide is gonna move, and for us to have this here, I think it's gonna cover the navbar. So for accessibility purposes and for UX purposes, we're going to actually just move that right about here, maybe half. Yes, half is good. And then we're going to actually give it the exact same width here, so 291. Make sure it's proportionate so that the other one doesn't go anywhere, so just something like that. Yes, so again, let's make sure they are the same. Here to bring, yes, exactly. So here you can bring it something like that, and you can give it 180. Now going to bring this one here in the middle, and let's bring it with the other one, so something around that. And let's make it bigger, and then we're going to count the spacing. So here for 87, so for the width for 87, and how much space? 172. We're going to have 172. So yes, around that. Cool. Yes. So now let's give it a exact same spacing here, so 78 here. And so as we can see here, there is like a little bit of these numbers because of this height. So let's try to make it like that, and then yes, it works just fine. So here we go. So now we can just open the heading, and then just go to this one, and then come here, make it vanilla peapod. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna change the color and actually give it this kind of color, and then we're going to give, so here it shouldn't be white. Actually, we made it white we're wrong, so it should be this color. So we should be seeing the next color coming on the, okay, but it doesn't, you can't actually see, it didn't really change. So yeah, should look something like that, but yeah, you can see what's coming actually. So here we're going to be doing the same. So I feel like the text is not really centered. Yes, I think that's about right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change the white to the next slider color, which is this red. Cool. And you need to make sure that those are accessible. So here's a trick that you need to make sure these are accessible, is you can use contrast checker, which is a cool plugin. So you can choose both the colors, and just need to see, it should at least show you something green. Yes, here large. It's not really the best contrast, but it's fine, and this text is not really important, but we're going to come back and add a CTA later. So now we're going to do is we need to change these into vanilla. So instead of adding them to the first, so we need to just add them to the ones in the frame before, so this will be just fine. So now we're going to do is put it per one here, and then duplicate. Let's give this one here. So now we're going to do is rotate it a little bit, and then move it, and then hold space, and then put it around here that it's not visible. Save 4 of these, copy, and then paste them right here, so they will just take the exact same place we gave them. So now we're going to bring them like that, and we're going to give the older one, which is the chocolate, let's give all of them actually 0 opacity, so from here, so that it actually fades out and not just like disappear. The second slider. So now let's actually duplicate this one and go to the third slider. Again, we're going to give this 291. One CDA, let's call it by now. The text is too big. Let's give it a 30, maybe 28. Yes. Bold our layouts. Let's give it maybe a 2. We're kind of big, maybe 60. Yes. And I think this is 12. Will do just fine. And let's give it a fill, and maybe radius, and in this one, for this we're going to be using this one as a text and this one as this. So here, something like that. I was thinking something like that. Yes, will do just fine. So again, copy, paste. So I'm gonna change just the colors. You can actually work with the same way with the colors, so they can add the color, but it's fine. So here, and for the text we're gonna do what we have in the background. No, so that for this one, for the text should have what we have on the background, so that it's clear. And here also, I think this is the right one, but we should have the text as, no, yes, text should be as background and fill should be as the text. So I think, yeah, that's it. That's most of the work. We actually have done most of the work here. Now what we need to do is only prototype. And we need to give this an after delay. Make sure it's after delay first. Let's give it maybe 1200, which is a second 0.2, and then small animate. Here we're going to be using custom bezier, not custom bezier, but custom spring. I'm going to actually give it 15, and here maybe 8. So yes, and then here maybe you can give it like 1600. Yes, that's about right. We'll see. Now I'm going to be, as you click on here, it should give this work the same way. So here again, if you want to get back, works like that, and if you want to come here, if you want to get back. So I think, yes, this is most of the prototype. Let's see how it came. So yes, as you can see, it is so smooth, and we can see, so let's, as you can see, so this is here, this is really helpful for the UI, so it's working just fine. And here, same thing, it's working just fine. So I think, yeah, that was for these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and do not forget to give us a like if you like, if this was helpful, and also make sure to subscribe for coming videos, and see you on the next one. Thank you.